Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to the Evexia webinar series. Our topic for today is emotions in the blood, a bioenergetic approach to interpreting labs. Today, we have the distinct pleasure of being joined by an exciting guest, Dr. Becky Coots-Kimbley, who will be our presenter for this webinar. Dr. Becky Coots-Kimbley is a doctor of natural medicine and founder of Kimbley Quantum University and Collective. With over 28 years of experience in physical therapy, bioenergetics, and quantum healing, she teaches practitioners how to interpret labs through the lens of the energetic body. Dr. Becky blends functional medicine, trauma release, frequency technology, and emotional alchemy to help clients and practitioners decode the hidden messages within the blood, revealing not just what's wrong, but why it's happening. Without further delay, I will now turn the webinar over to Dr. Coots-Kimbley.
Hi, my name is Dr. Becky, and today we're going to be talking about emotions in the blood, a bioenergetic approach to interpreting labs. We have been using bioenergetics in our practice since about 2020, and why we like to do it is multiple reasons. It is convenient, it is portable, and it saves a lot of money when you're working with clients. We have seen a lot of similarities with conventional labs versus what we see on bioenergetics. For those who don't know me, my name is Dr. Becky, and I am a doctor of natural medicine. I am the founder of Kimbley Quantum Collective and University that just opened last May. We are a multi-accredited university teaching quantum physics, teaching bioenergetics, certified holistic health practitioner, and traditional naturopathy, in addition to energy medicine. My journey into healing began not just in textbooks, but also in personal transformation, as I myself have come through Lyme disease not once, but also twice. The second time around was when I actually became exposed to bioenergetics. I learned to decode the messages that I had behind my pain and symptoms and emotional patterns using bioenergetics, not just for myself, but also for thousands of our clients around the world. I have over 28 years of experience. I have a background in massage therapy, physical therapy, functional medicine, naturopathy, holistic health, energy medicine, energy healing. So I've combined a lot of that into our training when I'm working with practitioners and in our university. We are now training the next generation of healers in understanding labs through a different lens, one that includes emotional resonance, energetic blocks, and frequency medicine. I believe labs don't just measure chemistry, but they tell a story. We all know, we've gone through those functional lab classes and how everyone says, connect the dots, trends and patterns. What story does your lab work say? We do the same with bioenergetics. When you listen deeply enough, you're going to find that the body is always speaking to you. It just needs the right interpreter. My mission is to empower women and practitioners to alchemize symptoms into sovereignty using emotional intelligence, energy diagnostics, and personalized protocols that honor both your biology and your soul. So what kind of things are we going to learn today? We're going to learn how the nervous system shapes your lab results and why dysregulation can mimic disease. We're going to learn about the power of bioenergetic testing to reveal what traditional labs may miss. And we're going to learn how frequency and quantum energy can accelerate your healing at a root cause level. And how trapped emotions, this is a big thing, can create their physical imprints in the body and how they show up in your labs and also your energetic field. Why does this matter? Well, if labs could tell us not just what is wrong, but how about they tell us what's unresolved? A lot of labs miss this. Today, we're not just reading labs, we're going to listen to the body's emotional language. There are plenty of lab markers, and I did not go through all of them because this would be like an hour-long presentation, but there are several lab markers that indicate a stressed nervous system and emotional dysregulation. These markers provide insight into inflammation, hormone disruption, neurotransmitter function, and overall stress. And these are just some of the key markers. These are the ones that I decided that I was going to talk about today because I want to make this pretty brief and simple and easy to understand because I am bringing bioenergetics into this. So the first slide we have here, we're going to be talking about mood and neurotransmitters. So these pictures here are actually snapshots from the software that we use, which again, can be used on any phone, tablet, or computer. You don't have to spend a boatload of money. There's a lot of systems out there that cost $8,000, $10,000, $15,000. This is affordable and it's portable. And I actually got these results in less than 5 minutes. So some of the common things that you're going to find are your nutrients. So we've got B vitamins, especially B6 and B12. We also have magnesium, vitamin D, serotonin, norepinephrine, and DHEA. So these are just a few of the markers under mood and neurotransmitters that can affect somebody's emotional landscape with labs or bioenergetics. Some of the emotional signs of depletion. So maybe your client's coming in and they're complaining about anxiety, burnout. Maybe they just have a feeling of despair or they're just feeling off. Now, I know a lot of us would be like, oh, there's anxiety. So let's look at the gut. Yes, that is one of the things. But have you ever asked yourself that maybe it's not really a gut issue? You know, maybe there's more going on. Maybe there's emotional stuff that's harboring in the gut. Maybe someone has a hard time digesting something or they have a hard time stomaching something. There's a lot of reasons why specific emotions will show up in specific parts of the body. Some of the energetic causes could be suppression. Maybe the person is struggling with low self-worth, or maybe they're living in trauma loops. These are some of the markers that you'll see not only on lab work, but also in bioenergetics. So you can see here under the vitamins and coenzymes, you can see some of these B vitamins are actually out of whack. We've got B6, we've got B3, and we've got vitamin A. So the column on the left here is what you were while the software was scanning you. And then after, we can see how well these things that were out of range actually balanced. So that's what you're seeing here on the right. This is as the software is scanning your cells. And then the column on the left is going to be after. You can see that it's optimizing. So you can see here, we've also got vitamin D as a marker. So again, a lot of these markers that people will get lab work for, we actually have in bioenergetics. You can also see some of the hormones. We actually have 2 different hormone panels that can be run with this software. We can see what cortisol is doing. We can see what serotonin is doing. We can see what norepinephrine is doing and DHEA. All of those will give us markers to see how is the blood, how is the chemistry, how is the emotions feeling in that human body. And then down here, we've got magnesium. We all know when we're super stressed, the body blows through magnesium. The body blows through minerals. The next slide we have is stress and inflammation markers. So again, we have a category for inflammation oxidation. There's quite a few markers over here in this category. So this client has a lot of inflammation. So the traditional thought would be, okay, we need to clean up the diet. We need to look at the environment. But guess what? There's also your environment can be your thoughts, your beliefs, and your mindset, or even the stories that you repeatedly tell yourself every day. So I'm just teaching you this because I want you to understand that it just may not be a physiological or physical thing. There may be emotions, energies, beliefs, traumas attached to this that could be making that lab look like there's all this stuff going on. So again, cortisol, you just saw cortisol on the other scan that I had. We've got cortisol dysfunction showing down here again. We've got CRP, so there's a lot of inflammation. Why? Where is it coming from? Homocysteine is another marker we can follow. And then HPA axis is actually in another screen, which I did not take a screenshot of, but I can actually see in people's scans, like what their vagus nerve is doing, what's the right side doing, what's the left side doing. What is the HPA axis up to? Is it too much energy? Is it low tone and low energy? What are some of these emotions that might be triggering this? Well, we've got urgency, fear. How many people have been living in fear, especially since 2020? There is a lot of fear out there. Fear, and even with healthcare practitioners we work with, fear of being seen, fear of I'm not good enough, fear of I'm not worthy enough to be able to deliver that program, or fear of I can't charge that amount of money. Nobody's going to pay that. We address all of that with our practitioners that we work with. There's also resentment and burnout. How many of even us have gotten burnout trying to help all these people? You can't see everybody. Some of the bioenergetic cues are going to be poor boundaries. Maybe you or someone you live with is overgiving, working too much, we call them people pleasers. Maybe somebody has stored rage. Rage is very common when you see Bartonella infection. So have you addressed the emotional aspect of the Bartonella? Another category I'd like to talk about is the immune and infection markers, because we all know how infection can also drive up cortisol. So again, is it really a stress thing? Is it an infection thing? Is it an emotion thing? These three slides here, this is a different slide where we can actually see what the blood is doing. So again, like the CBC that you would typically run. So we can look at platelets, neutrophils, Epstein-Barr, herpes, Lyme. So if we look on the bacterial diseases here, you can see all of these different co-infections showing for Lyme. We've got Bartonella. Here's two versions of Borrelia. We also have Babesia down here. And further down, because I wasn't able to get the whole entire thing, we have Mycoplasma. You can also see herpes here and herpes here and here. So we have a few different strains of herpes that will show up. You can also see Epstein-Barr. I always see Epstein-Barr and Lyme together. Lyme is further down on this bacterial disease picture as well. So again, I wasn't able to get the whole thing, but I just wanted to give you guys a snapshot of just some of the potential of what you have here. When we come over to this slide, we can see platelets. We can see neutrophils. Okay, so again, what is going on in that person's immune system? Is it really the infection of Lyme? Is it really Epstein-Barr? Is it really herpes? Or is it betrayal? I've worked with a lot of people who have had Lyme disease, herpes, Epstein-Barr, and you can do all the protocols and all the detox you want. But until you address the anger and the betrayal, some people are stuck. There's also depletion. Are you overgiving? Are you burning the candle on both ends? Maybe you just don't feel safe in your body. There's a lot of people out there that have emotional issues. They've got trauma issues. They don't feel safe in their body. They're maybe living in a situation where they don't feel safe. I mean, think about somebody living in mold. They're not going to feel safe in their body. What is the frequency message that is being delivered? The immune system, energetic boundaries. Where are your boundaries? Are you overgiving and depleting yourself? One of the common topics that we talk about when we do our coaching is parasites, and this is a big thing. In our world, in the world of holistic health, you know, a lot of people like to kind of go after and attack these parasites, but if you back it up and look at things very simply, if you don't have enough stomach acid, you're going to have a lot of parasites showing up. But let's say you're ticking all the boxes and you're doing all the right things, and yet there's still a lot of parasites showing up. Have you ever looked at your boundaries? Have you thought about the energy of like, who's sucking the life out of you? Maybe there's just that client that just keeps calling you and keeps blowing up your phone all the time. And you cringe every time you see that message. That's a message. Maybe you need tighter, stronger boundaries. Maybe you need better work hours. Maybe your clients need to sit down and identify who is sucking the life out of them, because that is why the parasite keeps coming back. Now, if we look at the next slide here, this is another view. This is something that we call inner voice. And this is very powerful. This is usually the first report that I do. This inner voice will actually listen to your voice, because your voice has a frequency, it has a tone. And then it analyzes what is going on in the body. So again, we're talking about bacteria and Bartonella, which is a Lyme cofactor, which showed up on this other screen, even though here it seems to be okay. So we can see Bartonella is a potential cause affecting these body parts and is attached to these beliefs, rigid beliefs versus open to possibilities. Does your client struggle with any of these emotions of shame, self-confidence, self-esteem conflict? Okay, we just talked about parasites. How are these emotions feeding into this parasite? Okay, on the vitals, this was when I would look at these and then go back to these markers up here and see, what is vitamin K doing? What is the heart doing? Does this person need more enzymes? And then again, it actually gives you, this is why I like giving reports to the clients that we work with, this report, because it'll actually tell them they need to support their digestion. So we need to increase trace minerals, take pre and probiotics. Maybe they need a chiropractor. To support the endocrine system, we need minerals, reducing toxicities. Again, chiropractic adjustments has come up in all three of these categories. So I would say this client probably needs a chiropractic adjustment to be able to assess what's going on structurally. But again, reduced toxicities has come up twice. Increased trace minerals has come up 3 times. So when we go back to minerals, this person is in a lot of stress. They're burning through minerals. Is it emotions? Is it the Bartonella? Is it boundaries with parasites? What's going on? Now, these reports, when we email these to our clients, they get the report, but they also get balancing harmonics. So they get the balancing frequencies in frequency tones that they can listen to. So this will actually start to balance the endocrine system, digestive system, and the reproductive, because it's using frequency. Bioenergetic testing, I want you guys to really listen to this, because this is crazy. Bioenergetic testing will pick up patterns before labs do, and it can do it even 5 years before. This is how sensitive bioenergetics can be. Why do bioenergetics come first? Well, because every cell emits a frequency before it expresses in the biochemistry. Symptoms are always going to be last. That is usually when your body is crying out for help. I need help. Energetic distortion happens first. Labs just measure the aftermath. Bioenergetics addresses the origin. Now, I like to actually use both. So I strictly use bioenergetics, and I might do that for a couple weeks, maybe a couple months, if there's something that I'm tracking. But if something just is not budging on bioenergetics, then that's usually when I'll ask for labs, and we run labs and kind of dive a little deeper. What is going on? So how do we integrate this through someone's biofield? So your biofield is that like energetic aura that everyone talks about. And you guys all know what it is, because you sense that before you even see or feel someone come into the room. So healing isn't just about fixing numbers on a lab report. We all know that. It's about restoring coherence in the energy field that informs those numbers. We use all kinds of things because we are light beings. We use lasers. We use terahertz frequencies. We use tuning forks. We use sound therapy. All of this is going to reset the natural resonance of your cell. It balances the body and reveals hidden emotional imprints affecting organ systems. So if you're interested in empowering your practice, we can help you. On the next slide, you're going to see a QR code. Feel free to click that. That will take you to our website where you can read all about what it is that we do in Kimbley Quantum Collective. And we have information with Kimbley Quantum University if you're someone who would like to learn how to do this stuff. So on the next slide is the QR code here. Feel free to take a snapshot. If you want to reach out to us, you can just simply go to KimbleyQuantumCollective.com, send us an email, let us know if you have any questions. Maybe you're somebody who is super interested in this, but you would like more information. We can help you with that. So thank you for allowing me to talk today and to give you a different snapshot of how you can address labs with bioenergetics and understanding the emotional aspects.
For any questions or issues, you may contact Avexia Diagnostics by email at info@avexiadiagnostics.com or by phone 5 days a week at extended hours, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Time at 888-852-2723. Thank you, Dr. Coots-Kimbley, for this informative presentation. Thank you again for joining us for this webinar event. Until next time, from everyone at Avexia Diagnostics and the Kimbley Quantum Collective, stay healthy, stay safe, and we wish you all the best on your pathway to wellness.